All right, this is Patrick Rogers. Today we have the privilege to have Francisco Martins dos Santos on the show. And Francisco is the CEO of Winncare, which has grown to over 35 employees. Welcome to the show, Francisco.
In first place, thank you, Patrick, for welcoming me at the show.
Absolutely. So, a little bit about Francisco, a little bit of history. He's an industrial engineer, passionate for getting shit done. His professional life has been on business management with specialization in the pharma industry. Currently, he's the CEO for Winncare in Iberia and Latin America, a company that manufactures and sells medical devices for dependent people. His main goal in life is to empower and help people, learning and growing together. He describes himself through four words: progress, excellence, consistency, and celebration. So, looking forward to diving into what has helped you be successful in your role as CEO for Winncare. But before we do that, Francisco, what's one
Mhm.
interesting fact about yourself that not many people know?
So I could say that maybe coming back a bit to the past, but I was vice champion of football freestyle in the national
Oh,
competition that was sponsored by Red Bull. I don't know
oh,
if you are
wow.
familiar to that. So it was fun times, and it allowed me to do some footing with some famous footballers like Cristiano Ronaldo and Didier Drogba, for example. Maybe you know
Oh,
them.
wow. Yeah, yeah, of course. Ronaldo. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's so awesome. That must have been it must have been an amazing experience.
Long time ago, but yes, it was very interesting one. Before I was not into visiting customers. I was more about playing football, doing some tricks with the ball. So I was pretty good at that. Right now, don't ask me to do it, but at that time, yes, it was fun.
Very cool. Awesome. So tell us more about Winncare. What do you guys do, and tell us more about the company.
Yeah, sure. So I joined this company, in fact, 1 year ago, and I'm
Oh,
already in love with the company, with the group. In fact, Winncare is a group. Our main, let's say, our main target is to improve life of dependent people and of also the caregivers with healthcare solutions. So basically, we manufacture solutions to improve the life of the people that are handicapped, geriatric people, people that really usually don't have access to a lot of things at their house, at their care. So really we aim to improve people's lives, and this is the fact that I like the most about this company.
wow, awesome. Yeah, so the company's really so elderly, so people that are
Mhm.
kind of in retirement or just need not hospice care, but just
Mhm.
more retirement.
So we work basically on all dimensions, because at the end, when you get old, unfortunately, each time you need more things, you need more help. Sometimes you need caregivers to take help of you, to take care of you. So basically, design solutions, we can say, for mobility, also for health-being. So when you have, let's say, 95 years old, maybe you need a special bed. So you can access, so you can feel
Got it.
free
Yeah.
at your home. And of course, we also work with dependent people, people that are many times disabled people, handicapped people that goes on wheelchair, for example. So they need special conditions, special equipment, so they can live their life at fullest. Because at the end, they should have exactly the same opportunities that everyone does. They are normal people as
Yeah.
every one of us. So we are doing their life easier, and that's what really makes me enjoy everything I do
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah. Yeah, so take us through a little bit of your journey since being on board as CEO and some of the things that have helped you be successful.
So, as I said, so this company was pretty new. We are based in Spain here at the local level. Um, it's been a very interesting journey. It's one
Yeah.
year. It looks like 10 years already. And in fact, I can say that maybe the main thing or the main subject I would like to maybe discuss on your podcast is
Yeah.
basically the team
Mm,
composition. So at the end, you arrive at a new team. You are the new CEO in charge. You need to go on with the team that you have, and see what you can do with internal people. So basically, I used to say that the most important thing when you arrive is to really know if you have the right people on the bus, and if not, you really need to hire them, to look for this boost of motivation, to
yeah.
look for what you want for the culture of the company, and also then look if on the bus you have the people on the right seats. So really do these internal promotions to see if people are really where they want to be, and look for these optimizations inside of your team. And the third one, I would say, very important one is really take off the bus the people that don't want to do this journey with you, and they are
Mm,
not aligning with the values of the company, with the culture of excellence that you want to do. So really, I think it's the main, I would say the main point, the main target that you should do when you arrive at the company as a CEO like this. And I think is the most important and also the most complex one.
yeah. You know, Francisco, a lot of people say very similar stuff, you know, getting the right people on the bus, getting them in the right seats, and then getting the wrong people off. What I found is the kind of the differentiating factor and the real, you know, the real like tangibles that a CEO can take out of it is every CEO does it differently. And that's the thing. So if you would share with us a little bit more about, you know, how did you get the right people on the bus? And then because everybody does it differently. And I think that's the thing I'd love to dive into a little bit is what has been your method for finding the right people and getting them in the right seats?
hmm I think it's a very good question, especially because at the end, you have already your vision for the company, your culture, and it's not your first company, so of course you bring best experience for another companies. But when
Mm,
you arrive to a new one, you have a completely different scenario, because at the end you need also to adapt, because not all the business are the same. Even though I've been in healthcare for since I start working, I think it's very important to understand that the sectors and the markets are not the same, and the people
yeah.
that you find in the teams are not the same. They don't have the same culture, and sometimes you have this alignment. So I would say that to get the right people on bus, first you need to define what is the culture that you have on your company and what is the culture that you want for your company. And
Mm,
mainly what I've been working is to create a model that you can adapt to each company, but you create a model based on the culture, let's say the cultural pillars that you have for your company, and then you can hire the person you want, that you are looking for, and not just throwing out some curriculum, some CV, and saying, let's see who are the people that are going to join, that wants to join Winncare. No, so you really define which is a profile that you want, not only the capabilities, but also if they fitting the culture, if they fitting the motivation, if they fitting the ambition that you have for the company. And I think this is the first one. You really need to set up what you want, and then you go for the market and you look on it. And slowly, we need to take the time to do it, because if you rush to do it, of course you will
yeah.
fail.
Yeah. Yeah. Love that. And then so it sounds like really defining the culture where it is now,
Mhm.
defining where you want the culture to be, and then from there kind of assessing almost, if you will, each person on the team and asking the question, do they fit the culture?
Exactly. I would say that the culture is one of the most important things, because at the end, the culture, we also talk about the culture. We always talk about culture, and culture is very difficult to define. As they say, it's like the wind. We cannot see it, but we can feel it. And
Yeah.
at the end, we need to talk about culture, because it has to fit the core values that you want for the company, but also I would add the capabilities for each position, because for each position you need different stuff. Of course, the first one you look, it's on the sales field, on
Yeah.
the commercial team, because you want sales, you want to deliver, but you need to have when you have a company, and especially when it's not a big corporation with 300 people on a company, you need people that are kind of entrepreneurs, people that does a different stuff, that only they
Right.
don't just perform their job, they perform their job, but they do also different stuff that can improve their outcome, let's say, and give more than a usual work, let's say.
Yeah. Gotcha. Do you have any specific examples that come to mind when you think of like somebody that you had to get off the bus?
Yes, I have some specific examples, and in fact, you have two types of person that you take off the bus. You
Yeah.
have the ones that you immediate know you need to take off the bus, and
Right.
this one I would say it's easier, because it means that everyone sees it.
Yeah, it's
Everyone
more
sees
overt. Yeah,
this.
yeah. Yeah.
So it's easy. Of course, you need to, because as a CEO, you cannot decide. You should not decide for everything. So you should go to your leadership team and make them resonate about it. But I think these persons are the easiest one to decide. The most difficult ones are the second ones. It's the people that you are doubting if they can do
Mm,
it better or not, if you can work with them to do it better. And usually, I would say 90% of the times, you
mm,
try it, you do the best, but
yeah.
after 1 year, you say, I cannot do it. They
Wow,
will not
1 year.
change. We need.
Yeah, that's a long time, it seems like.
Exactly. I put the example, I think, with that I would say it's a mistake, because we should not
Yeah.
take so long to take this type of decisions. But at the end, when you really believe that you can change people, most of the times you are wrong. So I think it's one of the learnings
Mm,
I can also just share right now, is that we should hire slow and fire fast.
mm,
This is one of the things that I would share with, if I can say something I learned through the way.
yeah. No, I mean, it totally makes sense. It's a very well known management technique, right? Hire slow and fire fast. So I know you mentioned that. So getting the right people on the team and then getting the wrong people off, giving chances. It sounds like a year. That's pretty gracious. But you also said that in your culture, part of your culture was making sure that everyone feels comfortable to give their feedback and opinions and actually be part of the decision process. How do you do that? How did you create that part of your culture? Because again, it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to actually do it.
Exactly. I think that inclusive environment, asking for feedback, and it's not only feedback, it's really that make people part of the projects. At the end, you set the vision, you set the strategy, but at the end, it's about deliverables. It's about projects. You need to deliver some projects. So I believe that if you want to do a marketing campaign, for example,
Mhm.
you cannot say to your marketing team, okay, let's do the best campaign as ever. They create a campaign and then they release it. If you do like
Mm.
this, again, 99% of the time it's going to fail. So
Mm.
basically, I believe that you need to assemble, let's say, commercial team, some administrative team, and some of the times marketing team working together. In this case, I would call it a brand team, where we really develop the project, or in this case, the campaign together, going to an outcome that can be reliable from the office in the creative perspective, and also from the field, because at the end, the commercial team is the one facing the customer. They know the needs of the customers better than anyone. And especially, it's not just because of the better outcome that we will get, it's
Mm.
also because the teams will feel involved on the process,
Mm.
so they will
Mm.
they will do it easier, and they will accept it easier. They will be, let's say, the ambassadors of this project if they do it like that. So I believe it's key. I did an example with the marketing campaign, but we can do several others. For example, if you hire a person that can be shared for between two departments, um, if you only go, okay, it will be 90% in one department and 10% in the other, and you don't put the responsible person of the 10% inside of the HR process, I will tell these people won't last, because they
Mm.
don't feel part of the process. So they will easily criticize because it was not their choice. So I believe that this inclusive decision on different projects, let's say in all the parts of the company, it's key for the success.
Gotcha. So you're actually including them in some of the major decisions, like going out of your way to make sure they're involved. Yeah, there's a saying that I've always loved. It actually came from The Great Game of Business. I'm not sure if you've ever read that book, but it's people support what they help create, right?
Mm-hmm.
If anything's forced down their throat, it's a lot less likely that they're going to take any ownership on it.
Exactly. I agree 100%. And in fact, it's exactly that. Even so, many times they can give their opinion, and their opinion is just opinions, maybe not change anything, but we are listening to them, we are paying attention, and sometimes they will change a detail, but details make the difference. So at the end, they are part of the process, and it's
Mm.
not about just being political correct. No, you really should listen to the people, and I think when you give these opportunities, you have much more success. So I agree 100% with what you just said.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you think in this last year, what do you think has been one or some of the biggest strategic moves that you made to really change the results and the trajectory of the company?
So I would say in our case for Winncare, it's very specific, but I think we are a big company with a lot of customers. But
Yeah.
at the end, there was not a lot of loyalty, let's say, and partnerships
Mm,
between customers, because we work for dependent people for improving
okay.
patients' lives, but we are working B2B. So we work with distributors, we
Yeah.
work sometimes with healthcare institutions, but at the end, they are the ones that should deliver the final product. So there was no big partnerships between customers. So what happened is that the information, the training, whatever, the good negotiations, like a package, not we're not selling products, we are selling a solution, something integral. So it's important to do a partnership with the customer. So I would say
Mm,
the main thing we work, and we are improving a lot, is on really getting real and good partnerships with big customers where we can deliver big and better value for the final customer, the patients finally, and that we really can get the most of information that families and caregivers know much information as possible, have the training that they deserve, and not only the price. That it's something that I'm really tired about listening. It's about price. So we really
Yeah.
need to give the best solution at the best price, of course, but we should focus on value, not on price.
And it sounds like you said you're doing that for you're focusing in on your largest customers to really deliver that message and deliver that value. Is that right?
Exactly. Of course, we would like to do that for all customers because all
Sure.
customers deserve our attention, deserve our work together, our partnership. But when we talk about partnership, you cannot be partnership of everyone. You really need
Yeah.
to choose. You need to be chosen. So it's about a win-win relationship. So I really believe that it's a matter of choosing the best partner and then go for it.
Yeah. Well, it just makes sense, right? I mean, it's the 80-20 principle, right? 80% of your income comes from 20% of your clients, and focusing on those will result in sustainability of your company. Yeah. Awesome. So what's next for you guys? What are your big goals going forward?
Yeah, so mainly we as you know, we want to get market share. So we are working a lot to improve our market share in the market. It's a market that is shrinking. The
Oh,
inflation, the war. So at
sure.
the end, it's impacting a lot
Yeah.
this market. Also, you have a lot of different kinds of products importing from China, whatever. So at the end, it's a tough market, let's say. But we are preparing our teams. We are preparing our innovation team to have the best products, to have the best teams. And at the end, what we want really is to get market share, not selling everywhere, to really penetrate on the market. That each time we have more patients using our products with quality that will really enhance their lives. So this is our main objective and our main target. And of course, for that, we have been working in some commercial excellence tools. It's something that I really I'm a fan, let's say, of commercial excellence tools because we have limited resources, we have
Mm-hmm.
limited time,
Mm-hmm.
so we need to put the focus where we can and to
Yeah.
prioritize opportunities because the truth is that we have opportunities everywhere, and this is I would say is the most difficult thing because when you have so much opportunities, you need really to put the focus and go for it, as you said, 80-20. But also when you have 20 products and you need to focus, you need really to put the focus because we don't have lack of time. We just
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we have lack of focus, and that's what makes us lose opportunities and lose the consistency to grow the next years. Because as I said, our objective is really to get market share, not to just have big tenders or big sales during the years. We want to have a continuous growth and really a sustainability for the company.
Sure. So you have lots of opportunities. It's not like new business leads are not there. It sounds like it's more just really committing to a certain area, a certain target avatar, and staying committed to that. For who is your target avatar? Who do you mainly go for? Your main
So
client,
yeah, so we work together, as I said, with distributors. So mainly we work
mainly
with
distributors.
distributors that then they connect with, let's say, hospitals, big geriatric groups. As you may know, so the population is aging very fast,
Yeah.
especially in Europe. We have a demography that it's really a bit scary, I would say. Because in some years we'll have the baby boomers all theirs, and
Yeah.
the truth is that we don't have geriatric centers for everyone.
Yeah.
So we need to start adapting our houses for the elderly people. We
Mm-hmm.
cannot have people climbing stairs with 95, 97 years old. So at the end, it's a bit scary on that sense because we are working directly with these people that in some days, in some years, will be our parents, our grandparents, our family. So it's really important to pay attention. So basically, we work with distributors. Also, we work, let's say, with medical shops that sell all kind of products of solutions for these patients. But what really passionate make us passionate our work is to work with healthcare professionals at hospitals, at the geriatric centers,
Yeah.
nursing homes. So it's
Yeah.
really where we target our efforts.
Gotcha. Well, let me ask Francisco, if you were going to hire a
Mhm.
CEO to take the reins for your company, what's the one book that you'd require he or she read before taking over for you, and why?
Yeah, so I have the other day I read something that I really loved is that there's no correlation on the number of books you buy, and the number of books you read.
Yeah,
And
it's
for
it's
me, it's
very
true.
true.
I loved it because it's true. I buy so much books that then I don't have time to read. But I would say that one of my
The
favorite
intent's
one
there.
is to exactly. It's the Get Things Done book for Michael Krogerus. I don't know if you
Oh
know
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's
Hmm.
a very practical and a book that really gives you tips how to do it. Very pragmatical. It talks about feedback. It talks about the value of the team. I would say this is one of them. I would also recommend Good to Great from
Oh
Jim
yeah.
Collins. It's the other.
Absolutely.
I think it's a classic one, and I think this one is also great, and it gives me a lot of ideas every time I read and reread the book.
Yeah, I think every business management and leadership book that was written after 1990 was written, some portion came from Good to Great, right? I mean, he's such a
Yes.
classic. Um, Awesome. So let me take a few minutes, Francisco, and summarize some
Mhm.
of my key takeaways. One for you is really the culture, right? Getting the culture to be where you want it to be has been an integral portion for you. So first of all, defining where you are now, defining where you want to be, and then really taking a deep dive on who is aligning with those values, who is not, and then take appropriate actions. And with that, you hire slow and fire fast. Um, the other thing which has been critical for you is really including the team on all major decisions, because it's so easy not to, right? We're so easy being the CEO or starting the company and growing it, and we're so used to be the one making the decisions, and so we just keep doing that. And what we end up creating is an environment where people are just there's no ownership. So and then for you was really pivoting strategically to focus on the value delivery and the partnership aspect for your largest customers, 80/20, if you will. Let me ask Francisco if there was one
Mhm.
takeaway that you'd really want the audience to absorb from our time
Mhm.
together today, what would that be?
I think that, as you said, I think you did a very good summary. But I think that the culture, it's the most important thing at the end. You really need to set up the culture. If there is no, you need to take responsibility of that. You need to
Mhm.
make people accountable for their decisions. And at the end, when you really involve the people, your team on the decisions, for sure, everything will go great. But as a CEO, you need to think strategically. You cannot think for the next 3 months. You need to set the
Mhm.
vision for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. You need to set for
Mhm.
long-term vision and make all the people, let's say, row to the same at the same pace, at the same velocity, to the same final destination. Let's say. So I think this is one of the greatest points for the leadership and as a CEO.
Yeah, it almost like what you're saying is you set the vision to determine where we want to go, but let your team kind of make the decisions on how we get there, if you will.
Exactly. And I think it's very important. We have to canalize our energy. Energy is one of the most important things you have. You have time, you have energy, you have focus. So really put the energy on people. And if you create a team that you don't need to work one day more, you will do it right. And that's my objective. My goal is I can be at the beach and I know everyone will be delivering. This will be a dream that I will be happy to do it.
Awesome. Fantastic. So Francisco, if any of our listeners want to reach out and get a hold of you, perhaps for any services of your company or questions from an interview today, what's the best way they could do that?
Of course, I think the best way is to reach me on LinkedIn. On my LinkedIn profile is
Great.
Francisco Martins dos Santos.
Awesome.
There you can find my personal email and you can contact me. And
Great.
I would just like to thank you, Patrick, for the
Yeah.
invitation. It was really I was really awesome to be here with you. I've been listening to your podcast and I've been learning a lot. So as
Awesome.
a CEO, I
Yeah.
keep learning and I love to learn. And I think I discovered a really interesting one. So I'll be following you
Wow.
for a
Thank you.
long time. And thank you again for inviting me to your show.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. It's I always love to hear when followers are starting to tune in more. So appreciate that, Francisco, and awesome to have you. So again, thanks for being on the show. This was fantastic. A lot of great tips in here for up and coming leaders.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you.
Yeah, and for the listeners, please hit the like and subscribe button and help us spread the word about what we're doing. We're helping the next generation of CEOs and leaders be that much more successful. With that, this is your host, Patrick Rogers, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks a lot.